Hey, what is going on, everyone? Today we're finally going to be going over the Doom Raid 2 skill lane. I know this is the last one that I haven't put up yet. The reason for this delay is mainly because by the time that I've unlocked Doom Raid skill for my strike team, people have already gone in and cleared it before I got a chance. So there was a time where I only got to clear the first two nodes and then someone else cleared the boss. This time, I finally got a recording on both of the starting nodes and the boss node together. So we're going to go through that together here today. And we're going to go through some of the things that I've done, some of the characters that I use, and also some of the pitfalls that I've kind of made myself by going through the node. Because it's quite challenging, and there are times and considerations that need to be made in order to maximize, I guess, speed and efficiency. Going through that, because there's definitely ways that you could screw it up, but hopefully by watching this we can get through it together, and that'll help you and you won't make some of these mistakes that I do sometimes. So without further ado, let's get this show started. Alright, so just to be clear, this is a pre-recording that I did of my Doom Raid 2 skill lane, because I was doing this, I think it was probably late at night, wasn't really able to kind of talk and record over it at the same time. So we're going to be going through this together, node by node. This is the first node here, and probably the reason why I have Gamora out is because in Doom Raid 1 skill, I do actually use her there instead of Maria Hill, because I just find it faster for me to clear through because of how much damage she does. That being said, I do take her out for this and shove in Maria Hill. I also want to say that my total team power, as you can see in the top right hand corner, just by my frame here, 670k. Now, I want to pause this really quick because I want to let people know that when you're doing Doom Raid 2, I honestly think that the kind of bare minimum that you should be tackling this with is about 650. I think certain areas you might be able to shave by, skim by with 600, but realistically I think 650 is probably a better goal, and of course getting your character levels as high as possible. Now for each lane, I think there's going to be different priorities in terms of who you should be focusing your gear on and your levels on. I honestly think that everyone also probably needs as close to tier 15 as possible as well, but for levels, you know, I would really focus on characters like Cap, Sam, and Kestrel over the other three, but Sharon Carter actually does quite a bit of damage as well. Now, I know that some people, instead of using Moondragon, uses Shang-Chi, and I know that that's quite popular these days. I don't really have a really powerful one, and I didn't really go hard in Heroes for Hire. I think mine's like tier 13, so that's probably not happening for me, but I heard that that's a good substitute. However, I do like the double support from Moondragon and Maria Hill. Because Moondragon also does provide deflex on her special, so that's really nice, and that really synergizes with a lot of the Secret Avengers who benefit from having deflex. So we're gonna jump ahead, we're gonna skip ahead after loads and all that. So here we go, we're starting in, and this is the very first node, and I want to start off the bat by saying the most, I think the biggest problem characters at the start is not the rhinos on the side, but if they do get to where they can taunt, that sometimes can be an issue for a little while. But it's actually going to be, obviously, the Astonishing X-Men, because they do pop down in more after this first wave, and having Jubilee down will be really important because she gives assist to everyone else. Secondarily, actually getting rid of Crystal, but kind of controlling Black Bolt, because Crystal can cleanse with her passive, and I don't want more hit points to have to damage through. So we'll see if I ended up doing exactly what I said. We start off with the Iceman Slow, and we got a blind on my Sharon Carter. Now that's a little bit unfortunate there, because depending, I may have screwed up, but sometimes you know, I kind of forget that I have blind on certain characters and use my attacks by accident. What would have been better is if Kestrel would have been blinded, because obviously she would have cleansed that. I'm going for the ultimate, and that does a lot of damage. That Cap Sam ultimate already just basically, I think, crit on Jubilee there, but it just did so much damage, and I think she's already dead. I think Kestrel's gonna pop her off. Yeah, boom. Did you see that crit? So it did about 350k crit. I want to say that I do also have Raider on my Kestrel. The reason why I have that is because I personally think that the damage output is stronger than Striker. I think the crits, the amount of crit damage that it does is much higher than a regular crit with Blue Raider, sorry, and it does a lot of damage on the passive. Granted, she did have defense down, but 350k on a passive ping, a lot of damage. Here we go. I think we, do we go for Crystal on this one? I forget who I target with the special. I might have gone for Black Bolt. Maybe I was kind of deciding here. It's not a huge deal. This first node's actually pretty easy, I would say. I wanted to maybe kind of control. Yeah, I think I realized I had the blind on Sharon Carter. I go for the special. on Crystal, because I think that she's my second target, that I really want to get her down. She obviously cleanses herself. Oh no, she failed to cleanse herself. Oh no, she did. I don't know what happened there. It looked like it didn't really heal. Anyways, we go for the Crystal kill. And the biggest issue, I think, going from node to node, is actually making sure that you have the cooldowns ready. That as much energy as you possibly can going into the next node. Because I think that really is the biggest priority when going from node to node to node. And so we do have Bishop drop down, so that's why I said that killing Jubilee is kind of important first, because otherwise it leaves Bishop up with able to get buffs from Jubilee, also getting those assists as well, so that's extra damage you don't want to have to deal with. Now, we do have the dropping down of 2 Green Goblins and another Black Bolt, so really this just means there's a lot of buff stripping possibly coming from Green Goblin, but also on the Rhino's turns. But overall, I don't actually find that the Black Bolts are really that big of a deal. You just kind of have to do damage, and I think I did the special, the Sharon special. It does a lot of damage. That Sharon special, if you have the T4s in that, does a crap ton of damage, not to mention it applies defense downs everywhere, which really helps for Kestrel's ping. And yeah, it just hits hard on its own. Like 200-ish K against everyone. I'm going for the special. I think what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to conserve my ultimate on Maria Hill so that I can have that for more harder areas, especially for the next node. I think I try to go as long as I can without, you know, quasi-healing. Now, whether or not that was a good idea or not, you know, I probably should have healed with one of my characters, either Moondragon or Maria Hill, by the end of this match, and I think that was the biggest problem here. So we kind of just work away at them. I'm not really too concerned with the other Black Bolt because he needs to kind of get to, what, turn 3 before he does his AoE anyways. Not really a big deal on his special. I don't think it does enough damage, frankly. This is, I do want to keep in mind, this is Doom Raid 2.0. I should have said this in the beginning, but people who follow my channel know I'm not really that far along on Doom Raid 2 yet. We do this once a... Actually, we're doing it twice a week as of recording this video now, but it was previously once a week. And we got to the point about 35% where I thought we were comfortable enough to be able to do it twice a week. So fingers crossed there. So as you can see, I mean, there's not really much to explain on this first node. After you get a few of the kind of key targets, which I think are Jubilee and Crystal, you can kind of just work away on them. But the biggest important thing, you know, use those shield troopers to ping defense downs, but also try to conserve your ability energy as much as you can. Now, I think what I should have done here at the end, even though it would have been a waste, I think I should have healed with either Maria Hill, probably Moondragon. I probably should have used that ultimate just to heal them back up to full. They're not capped off like I would like, because this is going to end, I think, with some of them a little bit lower, and we're going to talk about that when we go into the second node, because I did actually use some raid heals because I was a bit unconfident with my ability to heal potentially, or what might happen if I didn't. So you can see that Moondragon's just below half health. That's a bit of a problem, so I should have used at least one of my heals that round. That's something that I would have corrected next time, so make sure you do that. So that's the end of this first node. We're going to jump on over to node 2. Right, so as you can see, we're starting off here, node 2, in the healing screen, and then you can see Moondragon, yeah, she did end the fight with just maybe about 30% of her health, and I was a bit, I think I just healed everyone, but, oh no, did we just go with Moondragon? Or did I heal with everyone? I think I was a bit not confident that we healed Sharon Carter for some reason. So we do that, we're dropping back in with the exact same team in node 2. Now this one is more challenging than the first node. The first node is pretty easy, I would say, but we're going to go through this exactly why this is challenging and what enemies are probably the priority target here, and whether or not I ended up doing what I think I should have done. So this is the first wave here, quite difficult actually, so you can see it a little bit better, whatever. Okay, so we have a shield security in the back, we have 2 Yellow Jackets on the side, we have Silver Surfer, obviously a problem. We also have Blob, who's giving deflex to the others here, adjacent to him, and we have OG Falcon, who can scan on his special for speed bar. So a lot of troubling characters. I do think some of the more upfront, you know, scary threats at the start is actually the Yellow Jackets, because their ultimates, if you guys remember, puts offense up before he does the damage, does some AoE or some adjacent attacks, and then if he kills anyone, he repeats that. So this kind of gives me Dark Dimension 4 legendary fears. I don't know if you guys remember that node. There's a node in that section where there's some Yellow Jacket, a very powerful Yellow Jacket, who can probably kill your characters there, and then he repeats that over and over again. So this is really, really annoying. So I think that's what we start off doing, but let's find out. So Silver Surfer starts. he cast the ability block on Sharon, so that's really important. Who is he landing that on? Because if he lands on Kestrel, that's typically fine, because Kestrel's just going to cleanse it anyways and heal from that. But the other characters, they won't. Also, if that happens to land on Maria Hill, also a bit of an issue, because at least if you have your ultimate ready for Maria Hill, you can cleanse all of this stuff. I think that's what I end up doing, probably. I think... Or was I focusing on Falcon? We'll see. I think we may have been focusing Falcon, even though maybe I should have done that. I think it's because I had the defense down on Falcon. Did not get a defense down on Yellow Jacket. I think we go for the cleanse. Alright, so that's helpful. Getting deflex up, cleansing, making to get rid of that heal block, and everyone's back up to full health. And unfortunately, Falcon did bite it there. We did not get heal block from Negasonic because we did have the immunity up. I think, yeah... Oh, we do that. Okay, we do. I thought maybe we would do the special just to clear the taunt, but we did do the ultimate, and that got defense down everywhere, which is fine because that really helps with Kestrel. And that, if you see that that Yellow Jacket there, almost bites it, and I think he's gonna bite it here anyways. We probably didn't even need to use the ult, but I wanted to clear the taunt on that. So we do get one Yellow Jacket ult. Not a huge problem because we actually had defense up anyways from Cap Sam's taunt. But if you have two of those Yellow Jackets going off, doing the offense up AoE, sometimes that can be a bit of trouble, depending on whether or not Cap Sam has his taunt available or not. If he doesn't, then you might be in a little bit of trouble, because it could do a lot of damage to characters without deflex or any defense up. From here, not too hard. I think I focus on trying to get down Silver Surfer. Even though Blob is really annoying, he's only giving deflex at this time to Yellow Jacket. And personally, I would say that after Yellow Jacket's first move, it's not a big deal. It's more of the Silver Surfer. Also, Cap Sam's ult with offense up from Sharon does a shit ton of damage. And it's AoE. Now, what sucks, of course, I've talked about this from time and time again, is that you're not getting the turn bar unless they remain standing, and I hate that part, but otherwise it does do a lot of damage, and I don't know, I got 3 characters worth of turn bar, I guess, instead of 6 or 5 or how many were there. Okay, so part 2, this is wave 2, this is where we get Magneto and Polaris. The Wasp really isn't a huge deal here, but Magneto and Polaris, both of them which can drag your characters together, and that's not fun. I think I focus on Magneto over Polaris, though, because I don't like the blinds, but I kind of forget. We do try to get rid of Silver Surfer, because he's still a bit of an issue, and there's another Silver Surfer as well, so there was 4 drops there, the Magneto, Polaris, the second Silver Surfer, and Wasp. We do the special there on Wasp, not because we want to ability block Wasp, but because we want to get defense down on everyone. It hits those 5 targets. So I just wanted to maximize my damage there. I think we're maybe able to get Silver Surfer down. That was a really nice crit. That was like 550k. He's still got a crap ton of hit points. So sometimes I alternate between using the special for more damage and the basic in hopes for like a really lucky crit, because if you crit with the Shield Trooper's basic, then you do get turn rewind, so do keep that in mind as well. But I think we just tried to get a little bit extra damage. Interestingly, the Kestrel pings hit Blob rather than Silver Surfer, because he did have the lowest hit points, so he keeps getting hit by that. We do get rounded up a little bit, although the Shield Troopers, what I do like about that is the Shield Troopers kind of get in the way of rounding up everyone, because there's only so far your characters can move when there's other characters in between. We get through this eventually. I think, do we use the special on Polaris? I didn't want to get another Polaris ultimate to kind of do more damage there. And I think after this, we're pretty good to go. Polaris does not have a ton of hit points. Silver Surfer has a little bit more. He had Disrupt, so he did not actually pick up any offense ups from the ally deaths. He did get a blind on Maria Hill, but that doesn't stop Kestrel from pinging, which is really nice. We do hit Silver Surfer with a basic from Sharon. Now, Sharon Carter's basic, if you guys forgot her kit, does do a turn rewind, about 25%, I believe, with Cap Sam on the field, so that's really nice. I think we go for the taunt for the ability energy. I wanted to spread out way more ability energy to everyone else, and that's why I do that. So we're at 3 at 11. We're not short on time, actually. So what's nice about the skill nodes, as long as you go at a decent pace, there's not a lot of problems here with regards to time at all. I'm still doing quite well. Trying to save my cooldowns, but I also wanted to maximize my health going into the boss nodes, so that was a bit of an issue there. And our cooldowns, yeah, like I said before, maximizing your cooldowns and making sure your ability energy is as high as possible is really, really important. Because if you can do that, that'll really help going into the next node, whether it's just a regular node or if it's the boss node. So this is Doom Raid 2 skill node 2, and that's a wrap. And we're going to be talking about the boss node finally. Okay, so we're jumping into the Doom Raid 2 skill boss node here, and I want to say that this is a fair bit challenging, more challenging over the previous 2 nodes. We start off the fight here with 2 Polarises, a Dr. Doom, a Taskmaster, Thanos, Hawkeye, and Ghost. Now, the biggest problem characters here actually is the Taskmaster and obviously Dr. Doom. Now, why is Taskmaster a problem? And that's because of his ult, and he can blind characters with that offense up. Now, the biggest issue is if he blinds Sharon Carter. I think that's probably the worst one, but I don't really like it if he blinds Maria Hill either. And we'll see that I actually screw up on this node a bit, and this cost me the one-shot because I was not able to actually get Doom down before that, and we'll see here. So I start off with Kestrel's special here, right down the middle, trying to get 4 defense downs here on those actually 5, sorry, because Doom technically is next to Hawkeye there. They're kind of clumped together enough here, which is great. Kestrel's special is a really amazing skill. Now, unfortunately, as you can see here, I was not, actually, it's hard to see because of the frame. I'm 1 energy short of my ultimate for Capsam, so I'm forced into a taunt, which is okay, but then we do that on Dr. Doom. I think what I am also worried about is where I actually get my... do my damage, sorry. I was struggling there for a minute. So the damage that goes onto Doom. Now, Doom in Doom 1 does not have the passive that, you know, gives you the 50% turn bar and the ability energy. But in Doom 2, he does. So you have to watch out for that. And I don't know if it's in this run or if it was in a different run. But basically, I pushed him too far, and I forgot to ability block before that happened. So that's really important. Now, I think... okay, we don't go for the ultimate. We go for the shield troopers, and that's probably so we can ping more with Kestrel. Go for the ultimate for the damage there, and that puts a defense down on everyone else, and hopefully the shield troopers can actually take advantage of this. So yeah, this is where you see that I did too much damage to Doom. I did screw up here, and I was not able to get to Sharon Carter's turn to ability block Doom on her special. Now that's super important here, because otherwise this happens, and then Doom time platforms, and then he gives 3 turns. I forgot, who did he give the turns to? Let's rewind that a minute here. So yeah, he's gonna give the turn bar, the 3 free turns, to the character that has the highest damage. I think it's one of the Polarises. Yeah, it's that side Polaris there, but it full healed someone else as well. So it's not too big of an issue, admittedly. You know, it didn't do a ton of damage, and actually for some reason Doom didn't blow up his... oh, sorry, he had no bots to blow up because my Kestrel was there with the charge. So that part wasn't a huge deal, but you can see like there's a lot of extra damage flying around from Polaris that probably didn't need to happen. I still survive. All of my characters are still alive, but we need to get to Maria Hill's turn to use that ultimate in order to cleanse and get some healing out. So that's a big issue there. We managed to kind of survive somehow. They're all alive. Kestrel, though, if you can see, is actually pushed closer together to these characters. Capsam did not get dragged, though. We get the turn bar, that's fine, and that helps us a lot right there. We just try to, like, I think whammy into Taskmaster instead of Doom. This is where it gets a little bit problematic, I think, as well, because then he gets full hit points. For whatever reason, we use the Sharon special on Dr. Doom, even though he's already used time platform. Now, this is something that should have been done before. This is what should be done basically on turn 1. As soon as Sharon gets a turn, you need to do this on Doom to stop him from time platforming. Otherwise, you get that mistake that I just made. Either way, we get defense down on everyone else, and then we use the ultimate to cleanse, and everyone's back up to full. Yay. And then we just kind of go through the motions here. I think we try to work on slowing the turn bar on Thanos, because I don't want him to taunt, and that's normally what happens next. And that gets me stuck behind him for a little while. And then I guess we just slowly work on a combination of Doom and Taskmaster. But Taskmaster's kind of done a lot of his skills already, so there's not much left to worry about, I suppose. Ghost is a striker on this node, the enemy Ghost, which is quite interesting. And sucky because she's pushing back turn bar here. We just kind of work away on them, you know, trying to get through them with Kestrel's pings, doing extra damage. But, you know, it's a lot of extra damage that I've had to fight through. Now, by allowing Doom to time platform, it's basically pushed me back, I would say, about 45 seconds of this raid node. And that's what ultimately leads me to timing out, because I just don't have enough time anymore to get through all of them. And you see there that Thanos puts on the taunt. We also have an Ebony Maw in the field, so that's really not good. We do need to get to Ebony Maw before he does his ultimate, which puts a slow on everyone and, you know, is not very nice. So we do eventually just slam through Thanos, and I think we switch over to Ebony Maw when we can. Unfortunately, this forces me into the special, mainly to clear the taunt, but then, yeah, it didn't. He died pretty soon after. Okay, so we go for Taskmaster. And then we go for, the pings. Yes, you want to take advantage of those pings, of course, like I've been saying, with the shield troopers. Helps quite a bit here, because it'll do a lot of extra damage, as you can see. I guess after we go through Polaris is down. We get the second wave, or the third wave here with another Ghost and another Taskmaster. Bit of a pain in the ass, but we get the Kestrel special here on Ebony Maw, and I think that's my main focus, or who I'm trying to focus on at this point, because I don't want him to get to his second turn. He did get to the defense up with his special, but I don't want him to get to his ultimate, and I don't think he does, but we'll find out here pretty shortly. Still surviving here. That's right, we get the stun. Now, this is a very special skill, the Sharon Carter ultimate. This is something that I often use in Doom Raid 1 to deal with the Ebony Maw that's in that node as well, the Doom Raid 1 skill boss. So that's really good to use there at that point, because I don't think you really need to use it on anyone else too much. The focus is also very high, so very likely to land. And there we go, we get some more defense downs on everyone else, and that allows us to just get more Kestrel pings out. The Taskmaster, of course, still a pain in the ass, and I don't like that. And we get the final wave drop here. We get Corvus Glaive, Polaris, and a Crystal. Not really huge issue characters. I think, honestly, the hardest part is in the beginning. And then after you get through that, it's kind of a little bit easier to stay alive. We get that blind. Of course, the blinds hit Moondragon and one of my shield troopers. Luckily, when you summon the shield troopers, they get death proof, so they're not necessarily going to die right off the bat from one hit. So they can take, you know, 2 hits, I guess, 2 AoEs. And so we're just doing that for the pings. We're hitting that Taskmaster for the pings, trying to get him down, even though he's got defense down. We kind of finish him off there, and then we just kind of go around the circle, just trying to clear them out. But as you can see, I'm down to like a minute with 5 characters left, and I think just like a fraction of my time, you know, I think I do end up timing out here. And that's a bit of an issue. Obviously, being the boss node, you can go balls to the wall with all of your skills, except for Kestrel. So if you're using Kestrel for the third lane, which is tech, I'm on the left-hand side, by the way, so we're doing bio, skill, and then tech. You do need to save some of your cooldowns, in my opinion, or you'd like to, with Kestrel, so that by the time you get to the tech lane, you can still use her as well. So I like to use Cap Sam's ultimate, Cap Sam's special, and stuff to kind of build that the ability energy back up to Kestrel, which really helps here. But yeah, anyways, you can see that I just barely time out. If I didn't have got that time platform, I would have one-shot this no problem. And I do really like the combination of having Moondragon there with Maria Hill, because I think I probably would have died had I used like Shang-Chi or someone else. I think that's what would have happened. Now, there's going to be a different, yeah, so I do time out there. It's obviously going to be a little bit different if you are using Shang-Chi instead of Moondragon, because the skills are different. He's got a cleanse, he's got a slight turn bar rewind on his ultimate, but overall, all in all, I prefer Moondragon, A, because of the ult, because that's getting defense down on everyone. I also like the extra buffage and the healing from the special, giving deflect to the Secret Avengers. That really helps too. So yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, we do not clear it, but it is what it is. If Doom did not time platform, I would have done it. So my take home is that Doom Raid 2 skill is not too bad. Make sure you try to aim for about 650k team power overall. That's for just Doom Raid 2 base difficulty. I don't have experience in higher than that. My apologies if you're watching my channel and you are way past that, then you probably don't need my advice anyways. But otherwise, I hope this was helpful, guys. I hope this kind of clarified a few things on the node, but also kind of showed you where I've screwed up before and where I need to sort of correct my mistakes. So let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about Doom Raid 2 skill. I don't think it's somewhere in the middle. I don't think the difficulty is as bad. It's a little bit harder than Doom Raid 1 skill, but not by too much. So that's the end of the video, guys, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you all later. Boilon signing out.